you've got to chime it in. I'm going live on that for sure. Ken says hi to Belinda Murray, so big shout out to people. Kamal says glass half full, half empty. Glass half full or half empty. I think that's what he's trying to say. Sean says the easiest way to find time is to add up exactly how many hours are in a week and compare it to what you're doing. Absolutely. So just taking, doing a budget on your time, basically. And Ken says, I think we all have to continue learning and educating yourself, learn more from your business and just socially. You can then pay it forward to help others. And I guess that's how we're doing it, Tony. We're serving others, and we are all about paying it forward through our experience and through what our clients go through and other people, family and friends as well. So it's great to talk about these stories and analogies to help other people, because everybody's going through something, and often they're very similar ideas. So this is why we come up with these generic ideas around this.
Absolutely.
Is the whole idea that it actually, there's a lot of things that are very similar. People think they're on their own, but there's so many people that have experienced the same things. Sean says, Tony, if you want, watch Will Smith's video about his experience about skydiving. It might help.
It's awesome. It's an awesome video, Sean. I've watched it plenty of times. So yes, and I'll certainly be
not enough times by the sounds of it, Tony.
No, clearly not enough times. No, so that's okay. So, but yes, I'm aware of that video. It's an awesome video. Very funny, very engaging. And his point is right. Why is it so? He says something along these lines. Why is it that up until the point of actually where your toes are over the edge, that is the point of most danger. But why is it leading up to the night before you can't sleep?
No, it wasn't for me. It was the climb in the plane. That's the hardest thing.
Okay. Well,
because you're going like this.
Yeah.
Because they try and get you up as quickly as possible, right? Because they're doing, obviously a lot of runs, but
it's a business,
you're not just going like this. You're going like this.
Yeah, right.
And you're in this like little. I'm trying to make it worse for you, Tony, but you're in this little plane. There's actually no seat, so you're sitting on the floor, and you're just kind of like you're waiting and waiting. So it's like a 10 or 15 minute like climb.
Is my hand steady? I can feel some pins and needles.
Yeah, but this is preparation. It's visualization for you, Tony. It's getting you in the moment of it. We don't want to get you in the plane and then you actually get to the point of going, no, you're out. So we want to it was a little bit nerve-wracking walking to the plane and going. And the guys are kind of like, they're very quirky. The guys that do these things, kind of like Rob Flux. Big shout out to Rob. They're very quirky in their nature. And you just go, you don't feel safe with them because they're very, nonchalant about it. Right. So they've done it 1,000 times and they're just like, yeah, let's go party. Yeah. It's like, mate, are you on drugs or something? And that's the feeling that I got. Get up in the plane, you get diving, and it's like, I could do this again. That's how good it is. Anyway, that's Bianca's come on as well. Belinda says, and Olivia's come on, and Belinda says hi to Ken. Sean says, it's an awesome video. The point of most danger is the purest bliss. Is my favorite bit that he says.
Yeah, absolutely.
Greg says, maybe fill the plane with your favorite ice cream. I like that.
Yeah, but if it's got my favorite ice cream, I wouldn't want to leave the plane. I'm getting rained on again. I wouldn't want to leave the plane. That's the issue. If it's filled with my ice cream, I'd have to eat it first before I left the plane.
All right, anyway. Tony, the second point that we want to talk about is,
yes, correct.
Who do you want to be like? Can you follow their paths and their workings? So this could be a point in time that you really engage yourself with your hero, is the thought process behind this. Someone that you can emulate. You don't have to reinvent the wheel on some of these things. Like we said earlier, in the worst moments of your life when things aren't going well, there's other people going through a situation. But if you want to focus on the good things in life and where you're going, maybe you can emulate someone else. Like I resonate with Gary Vee a lot, as you do too. So I wear the shoes that he owns. He sells himself. I follow his learnings. I see what he's doing. I actually think to myself sometimes, well, what would Gary do in this situation when I probably am dwelling or I am, upset about something or frustrated with something? What would Gary do? So people can do this. So it might be people following Tony. It was like, what would Tony do apart from the skydive? But you know, what can Tony do, and what would Tony do in these situations? Would he hop out of bed? Would he do his morning routine? Would he respond in a better way? Would he go out there to do that one extra call, or the one extra minute, or the one extra kilometer, whatever it might be? So it's just thinking about those same things. And I guess in my respect, would I do that challenge? Would I take on those ideas and thoughts? So yeah, I was about to say something around the challenge.
No, that's okay. That's okay.
So
success leaves clues is the point you're making. And whatever someone is trying to do, whatever you're trying to do, wherever you are in the world this morning, I'll guarantee you that someone's already done what you're trying to do. Success leaves clues. Find those people, study them. There's a blueprint out there somewhere, right? And go and read their autobiography or whatever it might be. You know, Richard Branson, he hasn't just landed where he is at the moment and having homes on Necker Island and all those types of things. He started off from very, very humble beginnings. Everyone starts off from incredibly humble beginnings. The problem is that we see them where they are now, and we want to compare ourselves to where they are now. And of course, when you compare them, then all of a sudden you get incredibly upset, hence this instant gratification. I want what he's got now. But the reality is his work where he is now has been, 50-something years in the making, maybe longer, whatever it is. It's a long time. But we see the person now and we go, I want that thing. And when I can't have that thing, I get incredibly depressed. I get upset, and sometimes a whole lot worse. So,
what makes me think about, Tony?
What's that?
Is the whole idea about getting into cult-like thoughts. It's kind of getting into that tunnel vision. Now, I know that a lot of people talk about Tony Robbins. It's kind of a cult. They go into some of these seminars and training programs and they think it's a cult. But what it is really getting like-minded people together, get them focused on one thing, and you move forward with areas. And if you keep and sustain that cult-like thought or sustain that strong mindset, well, you're going to have success, like the Richard Bransons you talk about, like a Gary Vee, like a Tony Robbins, because you are cult-like within yourself. Now, one cult might work better for you than another. That's fine. Or there's a group of people and they just call them a cult because it's like, they sing, they chant, whatever they do, but it really helps them. So if you can either be cult-like within yourself, but most people and, as humans, we work together and are motivated more by other people. We're driven by other people. You kind of like that little competitive nature. So if I see someone do not the 66 sit-ups and do 100 or 150, I want to increase. So I went from 66 to 80, then to 100. So I'm sitting at 100 right now that I'm doing each and every day, as opposed to just staying at the 66. And, for some people, they just stay and want to work on their form and work on their technique and do that. So that's working for themselves.
Absolutely.
So,
well, Jim Rohn talks about Jim Rohn talks about the average of your 5 closest people, right? And or another saying I heard recently, which is, show me your friends and I'll show you your future, right? And so you just look around the people you're hanging around with, right? And so you talk about cults, but that's why you go along to different meetup groups. You go to different property meetup groups and whatnot. You hang with certain people. You don't hang with people who are incredibly negative and zap all your energy and take up your time. You just don't hang with them. You may interact with them once or twice, and you go, you know what? You are just not serving me, right? And so it's about going. What is that community? What is that that group that I can be with that's going to support me, collaborate with me, inspire me, etc. And here's what happens. So what happens is someone goes and makes a decision in their life, and they say, you know what, I want to go and be an entrepreneur, and I want to go. And this is a real life discussion that I've had many times with my close family and friends. I want to go and be an entrepreneur and do my own things. It's like, oh my God, you're so crazy. You're throwing away this high-paying job. What would you possibly do that for? Security, blah blah blah. Well, it's because I'm not happy, right? And so I had the people that love me, saying all these things to me. Now I could have easily listened to them, and for many, many years I did. But in 2015, I said enough's enough. And so it's about now finding the people. It's like, yeah, you're still my loved ones, but I'm going over here and I'm going to do this thing over here with this other group that I want to aspire to be like, right? And a lot of it is the insecurities of those individuals, your loved ones, your family, your friends, etc. They're putting their insecurities onto you because they're scared of doing something or getting involved in property or getting out and starting a business or whatever. They're saying, oh, that's no good. That's not for you. Stay with the safe route. Again, our mind has one role, to keep us safe, right? So you want to go and find that like-minded community who can lift you up.
How about
That's
this,
what we
Tony? I've got an idea.
Yeah, go for it.
How about like the reverse on what we do, right?
Mm.
How about like a negativity group?
Well, the problem with that is that you'd have a huge following. The issue with that is that it would
Really?
be just...
Do you think people would turn up to a negativity group?
Well, they do. They just don't call it a negativity group. But misery loves company, Luke. So
how about we could form like a negativity group?
I just
this
couldn't
is
do it,
very, weird out idea and thought about it, and
you know
just going negativity to push the positivity.
No, this feels like if you were to say to me, Tony, you can't eat any more ice cream, I'd go, no, nope, not doing it. I don't, no. So there's plenty of others who've got negativity groups, but they're just not called negativity groups. A lot of them are just.
But that's what you can make. Maybe the negativity group could be that spaced out. That it would be. So I've got some weird ideas, and I actually watched some of Gary Vee's videos yesterday about laziness. And that was really interesting to hear him talk about laziness around that.
What did he say about that?
I guess it was in regards to, he was talking about in terms of the macro patience and the micro speed. So it was more about, I guess, the patience aspect, maybe the laziness of that idea of trying to get the instant gratification. Yeah. So it sort of plugged into back about that idea. I might have to go through it just to really understand it, because that's okay. Often different tangents around it. But I think it kind of makes it kind of like a double negative to be a positive, having a negativity group. We might have to look at that a little bit further, but just an initial idea that it's kind of like the anti to bring the positive. So it's weirdly getting towards a positive to say to people, you are so bloody negative. Snap the shit out of it.
Yeah. Well, that's. I'd need some convincing, quite frankly. So I'm not sitting with that at all. So
I love challenging you, mate.
Well, I love challenging you. But here's the thing, I suppose, as a coach, not everyone that I work with goes on and has phenomenal success, and that's the reality. It's the old case of you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. And as much as you can go through the psychology side of things, the mindset side of things, I would love to have 100% success rate, because the price that I charge would be a whole lot more than what it is. But the reality is that not everyone has success. Right,
and maybe they're not ready for success. Maybe this is,
and that's the point. And I have tried and failed so many times in my life, continue to. But I'm talking about before I made the decision back in 2015. I'd had so many false starts. But something happened in 2015, and that was my time. And I haven't looked back since. And so you're right. People just aren't. They think they're ready. Again, it's the idea of. I love the idea of being an entrepreneur, because it's very popular right now. Let me tell you that being an entrepreneur is arguably one of the more difficult things, apart from jumping out of planes, arguably one of the more difficult things that people can do. Creating success in property. It's not easy. It's not designed to be easy, right? It's designed to be challenging, because I believe it's actually the universe's way of culling out those who are fair income and those who are pretenders. So, when you stick with it long enough, then what's going to eventually happen is the universe, and this might be a little bit weird for people, but the universe is eventually going to say, this person, this man or woman, is just not giving up. They are not giving up, and we're going to go and put our attention somewhere else, because they will give up.
That's how it works. David says, I love to hang around with people that have kindness and integrity, as I want to have this in my life, which is really good. So like-minded people. Sean says,
can I just say something to that before you get on to Sean's comment? So you can have kindness, integrity right now. This is the whole point of what we're talking about. Like if you want, yes, find the people who can give you kindness and integrity, but you can have kindness and integrity right now. We can have love and happiness right now. We can do all those things in an instant. You can change your mindset in an instant. Right? It's just that a lot of people will hitch their wagons on those other things, and that's fine. It's good to have those people around you and helping things move forward and constantly support you, but you can have those things right now, and happiness is a big one. People say, I'll be happy when I get $1 million. Well, no, No, you'd be happy now. You'd be happy now, and guess what happens? You get 1 million plus 2 plus 3. You crash through the million, right? So my point to that is that, yes, find those people. I agree with that. But get integrity or get kindness right now. Be kind
Absolutely.
right now.
Sean says that it's a no from us for the negativity group. Too much of that around. People are,
I agree, Sean. I'm struggling with the concept. I need to sit with it a bit, but in fact, I'm not going to sit with it that long. But I mean, it's just instantly it says there's so much negativity in the world already, Lou.
Yeah, but you can bring awareness to their negativity. I think there's a barrier that they can cross. So you've got to see the weirdness behind things sometimes, and my creative ways, my weird ways that bring out, maybe it does change. Maybe there's a case of getting through that negativity course and then coming out the outer side where people, this is one thing I do realize. So I know of a family member or friend, I'm not going to say who it is, that can get quite negative. But when they see someone else that's more negative than them, they just go, wow, that person's negative all the time. And it's like, what about you? So weirdly, seeing other people that are more negative than you might actually spring about you having a realization about what you're about.
Maybe.
So you've got to see through these, how can it actually change people from being negative to positive, to see others that are worse off than them? Do they actually change from that? Or, people have an understanding, or they're just in that environment all the time. I'm not too sure. I just don't know if there's a change that people can make just by saying, I'm going to be positive. I don't know. Maybe some people need that kick out the butt to say, look at all the negative people, go spend more time with them. It's kind of like that whole thing about cigarettes, right? You heard that before. You smoke, like someone put someone in a closet, or like as a kid, and goes 16 packs of cigarettes, stay in that closet until you smoked them all. And then once they started smoking them, they just never smoked again in their life. Right?
Yep.
So they had that much pain through it, hit rock bottom in negativity, and they can come out the other side. So maybe that is an idea. And I'm just actually flowing through with even more ideas as I go through with this.
Well, now that you say that, I'm thinking about the Gary Vee and talking about people going working in an old person's home and seeing the regret that they go through when they're 90 years old.
Dang, that's what I'm talking about. You're still not with it. Great. Moving on. The next one is this is me having intuition about my awareness about you right now. But the last point that we want to talk about while we almost hit the hour mark is what's going to allow you to make that shift. What are those daily steps?
Well, firstly, yep, sure. So this is all about self-awareness. So the first thing is that you can change a meaning in an instant, right? So if there's something that you're fearful about, right, fearful of dealing with agents, fearful of making a sales call, whatever, start to talk about, hey, what is it that I could do to love that? What could I do to enjoy that thing, right? So sales calls. So obviously that's what I do. I grow businesses. That's my core business. It's all about how do I get my clients to love making the sales calls, right? And what you do is you look beyond the sales call. The idea is that you looked at, when I make those sales calls, what will that do? Well, that'll give me extra income. When I have that extra income, what will that get you to do? Well, that'll get me choice. It'll get me to, grow my business or hire a staff member, whatever it might be. You look beyond the short term, no different to what we talked about with the feeling around running and the not feeling like running. You don't think about if you sit there and think about, I don't feel like it, I don't feel like it, I don't feel like it, what happens is what you think about manifests. You get bigger, 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 and all of a sudden, this small little feeling you had becomes this huge, big boulder that's an impenetrable object, right? So it's all about looking beyond the instant feeling about what am I going to get when I finish that? The feeling of euphoria, the endorphins racing, the heart racing, the alertness, the energy for the day, whatever it might be. Again, from a sales call point of view, what will I get at the end of that? Well, I'm going to be one step closer to finding the customer that is going to invest in my business.
Matthew Brooks has come on. David says, thank you, Tony, for going through that idea about kindness and integrity, which is great. Sean said, we don't even have TV for the last 8 years because it's too negative. So, yeah, Sean, you're in a better state than other people. I'm thinking of people that are really deeply negative. There's a lot of comments coming through about this negativity group, Tony. So I think everyone's loving it. Or
well, read them out. What are some of the comments? I can't see them.
Coming
what are they, mate?
along. I can see where Luke is coming from, showing us what negativity looks like. So David's kind of like half on board with it. Tony says, I am with Tony. Negativity group is going to feed that state of mind. Interesting. One negative person changing their mind set to with a positive group. Yes, that's become that changes the triad. So that could be a case of more positive people reflecting on, or helping negative people. Ken says 100% Sean, people love the negativity. They seem to get off on all the sad and bad shit that is happening around the world. And I think that people go towards that. Oh, the weather's bad outside. Oh, there's been rain for the last couple of days. Oh, there's fear and uncertainty. Oh, there's bad things happening in the world. What about all the good? Obviously the news don't report on, tend to not report too many good news stories.
No.
That's not what sells papers, and advertising and so forth. But it's what the way you look at it, the way you feed your body within what's going on in your mind, feed your mindset on it as well. So
it's the meaning. When you say the way you look at it, again, it's the meaning, which is the whole topic of today. I know that we've gone off in 97,000 different directions, but it's about the meaning that you apply to things. And again, I use the example of coronavirus because that's quite a topical one. It's the meaning that you apply. You can apply whatever meaning you want to anything. You can apply meaning to Luke's negativity idea. You can apply meaning to jumping out of a plane. Whatever the meaning is, you can apply whatever. And it's about how do we go and make that change? How do we go and change the particular meaning?
Linda's having a bit of a laugh around it as well. And Greg says, I think you are onto something, Luke. So we're getting like a 50-50 approach on this thing. Sean says they really do. Choosing to rise above and away from them feels so much better. So Sean's away from them. I guess, being around negative people sometimes, Tony, it might actually give you, work the muscle on negativity as well. Are you actually, how are you finding that you're relating to that? Are you actually trying to get away from that? Are you challenging those other person's thoughts around that? I was like, okay, there's all these bad things going on in the world, but we're not going through a world war. Yes, we've just started the first recession that we've had in 29 years or something. So, crazy. We've had such a good period of time. And, we haven't had it, we haven't had it that bad. Really, there haven't been astronomical level of deaths that we've seen in the past where other things that have occurred. Yes, there's deaths that are happening and it's terrible, like you said, Tony. But there's so many good things about life. I'm in a position right now that I've driven in a car and I've got away. I'm on a road trip and I can pick and choose what I want. So for me, that works really well. So I think about working on that muscle sometimes.
Every situation has a negative and a positive. Everything, right? Everything has a negative and a positive. Again, another one with the whole coronavirus thing is that it's forcing us to be more connected. By being isolated is forcing us to be more connected, right? Which is a little bit counterintuitive, but it's like now everyone's discovering the Zoom thing. Zoom shares have gone through the roof. So if you got on those back in January, congratulations. Zoom shares have gone through the roof. But the point is that now we're connecting more, even though we're not physically connecting, but we're having more of these conversations with people. There's we're doing the things a lot simpler. We're spending time together. Well, there's so many positives that have come out of the coronavirus, right? And again, it's the meaning that you apply to all these sorts of things. So just thinking about your negative idea, mate, back in management in years gone by, from a management point of view, it was always around focus on the person who's doing the wrong thing. Is the squeakiest wheel got all the oil, right? Whereas what's happened is management has changed. And this is the opposite of what you're saying with your negative idea, because management now is saying, let's create these amazing people over here. And all these negative ones who aren't on the bus, they can either get on the bus or get off, quite frankly. And so I think that's what I think about when I think about this negative idea. Firstly, I'm not a big fan of it, but that's okay. But secondly, it's about create this positive movement over here. And these negative people, they can come with us. Like this door is open over here. This positive group, we come on in. We want more come on in. But if they don't want to come in, I get it. Well, that's fine. But I'm living a good life over here with positive people. I just can't bring myself to go and spend time around people who are truly negative. It just flies in the face of everything that I do.
Yeah, well, I volunteer at Lifeline. What's that? It's negative people, unfortunately.
I'm not saying that all of my
Yeah, I'm
clients
just saying,
are enormously positive and optimistic and whatnot. But what I'm saying is that I'd much rather create a movement over here, like we do on a Sunday morning, around positivity and around helping people move forward and about paying it forward. And I would be happy if a gazillion people who are negative came on board and said, hey, my gosh, these two blokes are amazing. I'd love that. But I'm not going to go over there and sort of drag them over. It's like we're over here doing our thing and everyone's welcome.
I guess it's a little bit of a realization. Like it might be a subject for another day, but it's a realization about.
I think it will be.
What people are doing. Maybe they don't realize that they're that negative because they're actually speaking to people that are okay or super positive, and what they then dwell on is that no one listens to me. So when someone does listen to them and they actually get feedback that that other people are negative as well, it may change the course for someone. And I guess in terms of working that muscle of negativity and watching the news, for me, it's kind of a challenge to watch the news. It's kind of a challenge for me. It was like, how am I feeling afterwards? Can I actually take on that negativity? Because it's kind of that rejection point. Do you put yourself out there enough to get the rejection? Are you working that muscle? So it kind of makes me think about, it's not, a positive standpoint, but if I'm working that negativity muscle to go, well, I'm staying away from that. I can actually deal with that if it comes into my sphere for a moment. I can deal with that. I can respond better to it each and every time. For me, being a more positive person than negative person, then I can be better for it because I'm working that muscle. But in the same point, those other people that are negative can have some awareness about what they're actually going through, what other people are going through, and how bad it is to be in that on a constant basis.
Yeah, well, Gary Vee talks about being empathetic to those people, showing empathy. That's why he came up with the wine name called Empathy
Tony,
Wine.
are you using empathy if you're going away from the whole idea of having this group?
I'm not having this group. I'm not being in this group.
I thought you were trying to show empathy.
No, I'm happy to show empathy. I'm not going to be involved in starting a group.
I like challenging you on this.
People.
I'm loving this challenge. I'm loving this challenge live with you on this idea. It's really interesting. Okay. There's a lot of comments coming through. Watch TV that is positive and good laugh, says Tony. Absolutely. Positive TV and comedy can actually cure things as well.
Well, ultimately, right, just let me say on that point, it's about you put good stuff in, you get good stuff out. Right, so on that comment around TV, there are plenty of great things on TV if you want to watch TV. Good stuff in equals good stuff out, but shit in is going to equal shit out. You want to put negative in, you're going to get negative out.
This is great. I love this. It's best we all make our own happy news and put it out there to promote happy, says Ken.
Yes.
The only positive we ever found from negative people is knowing through we don't want to be like them. So that's the whole thing about that muscle. That's what I'm talking about. Ken says find the happy in your life and try to do that more. Brett's come on. Good day, Brett. David says, how about you do both and let people see the difference? They can make the choice from there. They can't make the choice from there. I don't think that's the issue. I think that's a bit of an issue. Linda says, I have been through many negative periods of my life and have come to the realization that I tend to give out negative energy to others, which I didn't know until I went to Dr. Demartini's breakthrough experience. After learning that, I tend to pick up the negative and positive energy from that individual or group. So that's interesting to
self-awareness. That's the point that we spruik on here about all the time. We don't talk about Dr. John, although he's an amazing guy, but we talk about self-awareness, being aware of oneself, and then making the choice. We all have the choice around what we say, think, do, etc. We have that choice, right? And so it's about being aware that if you're putting out negative energy, then you can challenge yourself on that. And also when you become aware of yourself, this now is NLP, you start to become aware of those around you as well. You start to very quickly, you can pick all that up. And, we talk here regularly around language, the power of, like it might be an individual word in a sentence or a paragraph, and you just pick up that particular word, right? Because you're honing in on what people are saying and doing.
That's the whole thing about the negativity group. It's about awareness, right, Tony?
Mate, I'm very happy to sit back and watch the intro to this negativity group. That's probably about all that I'll watch. I'll watch because I want to support you on this, and then I'll turn it off and go with the positive people.
Mate, what if you were a paid speaker to the negativity group? Would you do it?
I've got no problem speaking to. No. I've got take the. I know where you're going with this. So take the payment out of there, mate. I do plenty of stuff for free. I do this for free every Sunday. I do plenty of stuff for free, and my point is that I love speaking to people is one-way communication typically, right? So as in a presentation, whereas it's
Q&A session as well.
Yeah, but I'm not going to spend a lot of time there. I'm just not going to spend a lot of time there.
Tony says, Luke, Lifeline, that is a phone call with a person that you help. And that person, I think what Tony is getting at is a group that is predominantly negative that to me is reinforcing the negative attitude. So interesting.
Thank you, Tony. No, terrific perspective. Thank you, mate.
Tony, well, the Tonys are sticking together on this one. Linda
all
says,
the Tonys.
And have a good laugh. Thank you both, says Linda. So she's loving the banter that's going on right now.
Thank you. That's good.
So
That's good.
Challenging Tony on his own thoughts about this.
Yeah.
Our circumstances have been incredibly negative in many ways, says Sean. We wouldn't have rebuilt our position each time if we let ourselves feel like we are negative and pull ourselves together to move forward. So, Sean is on that driven and motivated process of when the negative things do come up for him, he's looking for ways to go down a different path, which is what we're all talking about today. I know Tony and I are having a bit of banter around this. I'm throwing out an idea. It's good to actually see, Tony, this is a good one for you, I guess. And, it's a good one for me to challenge my mind on different things.
Great.
Maybe sometimes we need to sit with it. I'm kind of like, it's kind of an interesting idea. It's kind of an intriguing idea that no one really does, I think, in terms of it's like, what if you could challenge what goes on out there and do something differently that could actually inspire others to do things differently for themselves, because they might not have, like Linda said, have awareness around things.
Yeah, maybe I'm looking at a different Luke. I've got no problems in challenging people. I get paid to challenge people. I challenge people daily. But it's more around having a group where I'm constantly surrounded by negative people. I just zero of that just sits. Zero of that. We're going to have a dog attack over here. Zero of that sits with me, right? So it's about happy to challenge people, but doing it on a regular basis. I'm starting to break out in hives just thinking about attending a negative meeting on a regular basis.
Okay. All right, we might.
Sorry, I'm just watching. I'm just about to watch a dog attack over here, so it's all happening here where I am.
Tony Gallagher says, no worries, Tony, on that one. And also, David says, you both aim to want to build a positive community, and that's what matters. So
yeah,
David's coming and helping us both to get back a bit of the Luke and Tony love back, where
we don't always have to have the love.
No, with my idea right now.
Oh, no, not right now. I will struggle with it, I think, forever. So, that's. But it's more around. Well, there you go. So I know that you'll be at me over this for a while to see. But as I said, I'm happy to challenge people, but spend time with people ongoing who are negative. I just no thanks.
Okay, that'll be an interesting one to see. So we are about changing the meaning today. So hopefully it's a thought process of changing the meaning for you, which is really good. That's what we're all about. And, thinking about some of those things that we brought up today, which include where are you at now? What's working for you? What's not working for you? Is there actual happiness from what you're doing right now? And thinking about those things like, what would you like them to be? What are the people that you want to follow? Is it someone that you want to emulate, which is important? And then what's going to make a shift? And what are those daily steps that you need to do? So, any final thoughts? And while we talk about
I
those
was going to say, just more comments that have come in. Oh, that's still coming in.
Yep. Yeah. Linda says, yes, I'm also come to the realization when I become negative, so I keep away from those people, and I won't be giving out negative energy to others. So that's a realization for Linda. Johnny says, put Get out. Sorry, he says, get out of your comfort zone, Tony. Would be worth laughs to seeing you host a group. Get out of your comfort zone, Tony. Wow, interesting. Sean says it's the separation from Tony that is stimulating the negative. Go run to Tony. Laugh out loud. I don't know what that means, but anyway. Interesting ideas from Johnny. Get out of your comfort zone on negativity. Ken says, okay, got to go prepare the vans for the day, serving up the joy and happiness through ice cream. Great session as always. Thank you, Ken. Thanks for staying on this whole time. We've gone an hour and 15 minutes. This is our.
I know. It is, and I've got to go, mate. I've got Dad's birthday. Got a morning tea with Dad. I just want to touch on. So you, in your final summary of notes, you said something on the lines of emulate people who you want to be like. Right, so that's the bit that I want to fixate on. I want to emulate to be like those people, as opposed to this other direction, this other weird and wacky idea that's come up here this morning. So I'm sure you'll keep exploring it with me. I know you will. In fact, I know you well enough to know that you'll keep chipping away at it. But anyway, I much prefer to focus in a positive direction. Happy to get out of my comfort zone with a whole range of things. Leaning into my little piece around skydiving, that really has got me. But look, Johnny, I'm happy to, oh gosh, no, I'm not actually. I couldn't even get the words out of my mouth.
Anyway, it's a good way to wrap it up. We like challenges for each other, and that's what it's all about. We challenge you guys, and we challenge ourselves on a constant basis. Tony, have a great day. Happy birthday to your dad, and see you soon. Bye,
Thank you, everyone. See you.